Hello guys, welcome to another video, and we're another day closer to Path of Exile 2's launch, and it's another feature of the tree. The Catalysis, which is located in the middle of the Dexterity area.
Okay, what do we got here? 20% of increased elemental damage with attack skills. Okay, 20% increased damage. 5% physical damage from hits taken as damage of a random element. I mean, thing is, for this to be good, you need a lot of it. Having a little bit is just like taking the edge off. Still, I mean, that's still not a bad one, is it? It's assuming you're... I mean, don't get me wrong. Better DR is a better DR. You know, you're basically taking some... Instead of taking... Yeah, no, you're reducing your overall physical hit, which increases the effectiveness of your armor as well. But you want, like, more of the stat. You want, like, you know, 20% of the stat, like, you know, to really feel it.
Area towards the outer edge. 20% increased elemental damage with attack skills, 5% of physical damage from hits taken as damage of a random element. So, we already knew that damage taken as was going to be a thing in PoE 2, as it exists on the Cloak of Flame unique body armor, and there also appears to be a section in the character sheet for these stats labelled as damage redirection, which will likely document all of those stats for a final breakdown of how damage is taken on the character.
Ooh.
Unlike Cloak of Flame though, the modifier on this node specifically refers to physical hit damage only, so it won't work for damage over time such as bleeding. When you take physical damage...
That's annoying actually. I wish it would just... Why do they always do that? Why do they always have to add the fucking hits in? Why they always gotta add the hits in, bro? What's that about? What's that about? You didn't need to include hits. But they do. So it's not OP. I mean, bro, I want to convert dots, though. We want to convert... Because the net result of this is you get, like, some character which is janky as fuck because he gets, like, near 100% conversion or even 100% conversion, but it's only to hits. So then you take, like, no damage, no damage, no damage, and it's like, hell yeah, bro, my defense is feeling sick. And then you get hit by the fucking bleed, and then it fucking annihilates your character in 0.1 seconds. You know? It's that, like, that's... Like, you know, I would prefer to have no hits in the tag, and then it just is a lower number overall. So that way it's more consistent at least.
Damage from a hit, 5% of that damage will instead be taken as a randomly selected damage type on a per hit basis between fire, cold, and lightning damage, which means it's then going to be mitigated by your resistance.
Yeah, just if it is true.
I expect this notable to be picked up on pretty much every elemental attack build on this side of the tree, but it's unlikely to be taken on any other builds that won't fully benefit from the node, because 5% isn't really enough to justify the investment of points. Next up, the Elemental Equilibrium Keystone, which is changed...
Hits a deal fire damage, now remove cold exposure and inflict lightning exposure. Hits a deal cold damage, remove cold exposure and inflict fire exposure. Okay, hits a deal lightning damage, remove lightning exposure and inflict cold exposure. Oh! Okay. So it's just exposure. But, so you do cold, removes cold, goes to fire. So if you alternate, GG. So you alternate between cold. Wait, so you do cold. So you do a cold hit, right? Boom. You do a cold hit, removes cold exposure. Okay, so you do a cold hit, it puts fire exposure. So then you do a fire hit. Remove fire exposure to lightning. So you have to go cold, fire, lightning. Cold, fire, lightning. Cold, fire, lightning. Wait, wouldn't it be when you do cold, it removes cold exposure and inflicts fire and lightning? When you do lightning, it removes lightning and does cold and fire? Wait, so they're making you go into it. 2 is just fine. Well, no, it's not just fine, though. Am I crazy? Wait, cold removes cold, does fire. Do fire. Removes fire, does lightning. I don't want lightning, though. I don't want lightning. I want fucking... So I want to go between cold and fire, right? So I do a cold damage. Boom. Okay. That's fire exposure. Okay, now I do my fire damage because I want to benefit from the fire exposure. Fire exposure does lightning exposure. Only. So you got to go like cold... Fire, lightning, cold, fire, lightning, cold, fire, lightning. Fire removes fire. Yeah, that removes fire. Cold removes cold, fire removes fire, lightning removes lightning. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna be able to reorder that, or maybe you can change it
a bit from PoE 1 and finds itself a bit deeper in the dexterity aligned area.
True. You could have wait. True. Okay, let's see it. Wait, what if you did a combo attack? Let's say you did a cold lightning. Okay, we do cold lightning. So that removes cold, does fire, and does cold. But it removes cold. No. Okay, you do cold fire. Removes cold, removes fire. This function. No, it doesn't work, bro. You gotta. Dude, it doesn't work. You gotta alternate between them.
This keystone has been designed to reward the clever use of alternating elemental damage types. When dealing one type of elemental
damage. You guys are. So you're thinking about old EE, and you're thinking about the previous older EE. This EE is just fucking autistic.
You'll remove any exposure from that type, and then apply exposure to another type based on the type dealt. For example, dealing cold damage removes cold exposure and inflicts fire exposure. Exposure is a debuff which lowers elemental resistance, and notice that there is no exposure numbers on the keystone unlike the one in PoE 1, which would indicate a base magnitude exposure which is 10% in PoE 1. Elemental Equilibrium will be useful in a build that is able to ignite using cold damage, or one that's able to quickly deal cold damage after igniting, applying fire exposure.
Yeah. True. Yeah, no, true. Actually, wait, this makes it far more traditional, because that was what old EE used to be super good at that. Old EE was broken. It was like minus 40. This is like a super budget version of that.
To make the ignite deal more damage. Interestingly, a hit which deals elemental damage of all three elements in one go would remove exposure to all three types, then immediately reapply exposure to all three types. So finding a small amount of flat damage to all three elements from gear pieces may be the way to go for elemental builds with this keystone.
How does it benefit from it? You sure it doesn't, like, how does the Civ calculate it? Does it just add it and remove it in the same frame, so you never had it? Because that's what I was thinking. Because I was like, oh, you can't do both because it's going to remove the one you want. But, like, what's going to happen there? I mean, that's, like, something you need to test in the game, right? Because that just sounds overpowered. It'd be super easy to just get flat damage of all three. Then again, we're seeing all the flat damage gems have all been removed. Have we seen flat damage on jewelry and stuff? Wait a minute. Maybe it's not easy nowadays. Subathon news this weekend, perhaps. What Subathon news you want to hear, bro? I just worked on I just spent most of yesterday working on a setup so the mods can stream their point of view. Right now, the moderators can actually stream to the stream with a single. They just click it, open up a page, type in a thing, and then boom, they're streaming to a computer.
Low tolerance is located close to the middle between
60% increased effect of poison against enemies that are not poisoned. Potent to 60% more, bro. But then again, it's not going to be more because there seems to be a lot of poison effect. That doesn't seem to be as good as the previous low tolerance. Previous low tolerance was way better, right? But then wait, baseline poison got buffed, right? Because it's got a stat cap now. So baseline poisons are more potent. Yeah, it might be good just for mapping. Maybe just mapping. Just, you want to do that, but you got Prolif on as well, boom.
In the Ranger and the Monk start locations. This one grants 60% increased effect of poison against enemies that are not poisoned. Now, we know that damaging ailments will work differently in PoE 2. The damage of an ailment is calculated from the hit on the monster's side prior to mitigation, which means all of the hit modifiers are taken into account, and as a result of that, damage modifiers will no longer directly apply to the ailment. The only way to scale the ailment directly thereafter is with modifiers to the effect of an ailment, such as this one. We also know that
I need to deep dive ailments again, because I still don't fully understand it. Like, I get it, like, it's the base matters now, and it's, like, not completely detached, but then it's like, I need to just fully lock it in my brain. Fuck, man, I hope this doesn't turn into a situation, bro. You know when you're, like, living at a place, and then there's a road rule that you learned when you're a kid, and then they change the road rule? Like, we used to turning left, you've got to, like, give way to people who are turning right, or the other way around, and they changed the rule in New Zealand, and I always forget, wait, was it do I give way or do they give way? And I never know. Even now, I just don't know. I just kind of vibe it out. Just look at them. They're not going. I'm just going to go. Boom. I'm worried that, am I going to constantly do that with PoE 1 and 2 mechanics, like ailment scaling? You know? Like old EE versus new EE, or like, oh man. Do I have valid license? I didn't actually for like 9 years. I didn't even realize. And actually got a new one just recently.
Poison no longer stacks by default, and there will instead be ways to obtain additional stacks. So, this node essentially is 60% more damage for that initial poison applied to the monster, but won't have any effect if the monster is already poisoned. It will be interesting to see if it's possible to shorten the duration of poison to the point where you're able to continuously reapply a single stack. That would make this notable extremely powerful. Speaking of poison, stacking Toxins is located in the middle of the dexterity area and allows you to inflict additional poison at the cost of reducing poison effect by 20%. Notice that this is reduced effect, not less effect, which means you'll be able to counter this downside by obtaining modifiers which increase the effects of poison.
That's just a really strong node then. That's just really potent actually, yeah. Big.
They'll stack additively. This node is already strong on its own, but if you're able to counter that downside, it becomes exceptionally good. Okay, let's take a moment to look at some of the...
Cannot use charms. 30% more recovery from flasks? No shot you're going to use that, right? Unless you're doing a flask build, which like you've got like the overcapping flask bullshit. I don't know if that's going to be in the game. Like your flask is not removed at full life type deal. Like, I could only see it being used in a situation like that. If there's a node that says, like, your flask can't be removed at full life, or maybe, oh, wait a minute, this might be good as well for Mind Over Matter builds that need hardcore mana regen. If you had, like, perma mana flask uptime and you just spam mana flasks to get your mana topped off, it can be good for that as well. But for most people, you're not going to take this.
Charm-related nodes. First, a new keystone, Oasis. This one is located at an equal distance from the Merc and Ranger starts, right in the middle. Oasis makes it so that you cannot use charms, but provides 30% more recovery from your flasks. Charms are a new, fully automated equipment item which use flask charges and provide utilities such as removing bleeding or freeze. It's currently really hard to judge how useful this keystone will be, as it's difficult to place a value on charms. For example, will we be able to replace the utility they provide elsewhere, and if so, how easily? More recovery from flasks...
Just get ailment immunity, bro. Just get ailment immunity.
It's a strong stat, considering that recovery...
They ain't doing that in PO2, right? They ain't doing that. They seen what happens... I feel like it ruins the design of a bunch of bosses that have ailments. You get ailment immunity, and like all these things that are supposed to be like crippling slows, or like something that slows your character down, or fucking makes your character degen. It just doesn't happen anymore. I feel like it limits the scope of boss design, but because people completely trivialize it. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, people should be able to eventually trivialize a boss, but like, I don't know, ailment immunity being baseline in every build, the second you get to maps is kind of like. You know, then they had to kind of balance the game around the fact that everyone's just going to get ailment immunity, right? The levitate node exists, but it's not as strong as ailment immunity. I mean, it's stronger than ailment immunity in a lot of cases, but it's not as like broken in certain situations. How do you deal with chills and freeze? I just think freeze should not be. It's one of those things where chill should be. You know, you should be able to reduce the effect. Freeze is really potent. They need to reserve freeze for very specific things in boss fights. A boss should not be able to just freeze you like every auto attack, for example. Yeah.
Is going to be much more difficult to obtain in PoE2 compared to PoE1, but it's hard to judge this keystone just yet. My initial reaction is that the upside may not be good enough for the loss of charms. Now, speaking of charms, this large cluster at the edge of the tree here has 3 notables which all provide the same 10% increased effect of charms, for a total of 30% increased effect from all 3. There's also a few other clusters in the dexterity area which also provide charm effect. Now, this is a strange stat considering some of the charms we've seen, such as
they're absolute, right? It just removes like, so then what, increasing the effect is doing fuck all. There must be other charms that do other things. There must be like, oh, do you think there's going to be like an armor charm? Do you reckon there's going to be an armor? There might be like an armor charm and an evasion charm. There must be, right? Yeah, there's got, bro, there's got to be something. There must be other utility charms. Because what, all these absolutes increasing effects. Like, oh yeah, let me increase the effect of my immunity. Right? Let me increase the effect of my immune. Like, you know, that's stupid. But you're immune. It's like a 1 or a 0. Either you're immune or you're not immune. Increasing that effect is like, what? Increasing the effect doesn't increase. Well, I mean, surely it means there's other charm bases. Surely.
Daunting or Thawing charm have no scalable stats on the base item. There's also the fact that charms can't be used by default and are instead activated automatically when a certain condition is met. This leads me to believe that the Pathfinder, or perhaps another Ascendancy, may have access to some kind of interaction with charms to benefit from these sorts of modifiers, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, you can imagine a charm that just says, this charm uses at full, right? Right? It's like, and then the charm just gives, it's just a fucking utility flask, right? That could be how the charm works. It's just an automatic utility flask, and then you just increase the effect of it. But then, I don't know, I said, fuck that gameplay, bro. Fuck that. We moved away from that, right? This is supposed to be some shit. I don't know, man. I'll be honest, chat, I was really expecting, like, I did predict a charm system in the removal of flasks, but I thought it was going to be passive. I didn't think it was going to be active, because I felt like active was janky. I still do see active charms being a bit of an issue in the respect that all that charms are going to do is just make you complacent to it, a mechanic. It's not going to fix a mechanic. Right? You're gonna be like, oh man, bleed's killing me. Let me put a bleed charm on. Oh sweet, I'm not getting bleed anymore. Badass, this is sick. And then you're just gonna be, because you're gonna getting bleed and remove it, and then you're gonna encounter a bunch of mob types that all inflict bleed, and then boom, you're just gonna get bled for the first time in like fucking 20 maps, and it's just gonna kill you instantly, right? I don't know. Versus something that says, oh yeah, reduces bleed damage by 20%, like charm, right? A charm that just reduces the thing. Oh yeah, you know, a charm that says, you know, you cannot be fully frozen, and chill is reduced by 20%, something like that. I was saying it like that. To me, that seems like a better version of a charm. Like, because then it's like, okay, it doesn't just like, it's not gonna have that janky feeling of, oh, I'm not getting frozen. I put my frozen charm on. I'm immune to freeze. I'm immune to freeze. Hell yeah, bro. This is sweet. Bang, fully frozen, dead. Right? And because that's what's gonna happen, bro. That's what's going to happen.
Now here's another keystone, Acrobatics, which we've known about for a while. However, this is confirmation that the modifier is in fact 50% less evasion rating, not 50% reduced, so that's quite a brutal downside.
That's still insane, though. Actually, I'm going to write that in my notes. The thing about this is it creates such a consistent defensive layer. So it'll be such a reliable defensive layer. Because if you don't even know how evasion works, chat, it works in a entropy system where it's not pure random. It's like, it's going to be consistent. So you'll be like, dodge, 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 take a hit. Dodge, 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 take a hit. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Evade, 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 take a hit. Evade, 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 take a hit. Right? And if you make evade, then apply to every hit in the game. So every hit in the game can now be evaded. And it's working on an entropy system that's super consistent. Even if you evade half the shit, even if like you lose half your evades, it means you're going to consistently evade everything. So you're not going to be like, I'm taking no damage to these attacks. I'm taking no damage to these attacks. Huh, what a joke. Then some guy does some sort of spell shotgun, and your character just dies, right? It's going to be more like, evade, evade, hit, evade, evade, hit. You know, you're never going to get that crazy burst of damage. So it's going to feel very consistent. I feel like that node there, providing you can get to like, you know, if you get to like 50% evasion or something with this, it's going to be super strong. I mean, imagine this with like 65% evasion. That'd be like bussin'. But, I mean, yeah. Entropy means absolutely nothing in this context. 0 bits of information, not reducing the entropy by shit hole. Okay. They just call it entropy system. Imagine it like a counter that builds up, and once you reach that counter, then you get hit. counter that builds up. Yes, that's versus pure random. So pure random. So the reason why block feels inconsistent is you can have 99% chance to block, right? You're running around, you're taking no damage. You're like, man, I'm unkillable. I'm a fucking beast. Nobody can stop me. This is fucking sick. And then 10 attacks in a row could just fucking hit you. Hit. Whereas that could never happen with evasion. That can never happen. You will always evade consistently. I know it works. It's just saying an entry-based system. Well, that's an entry. That's what they call it. I'm just using the system. Like this is if you look up evasion, they refer to it as an entry-based system. And anyway, when you look into it deeper, it's just effectively it's a counter that builds up. That's all it is. It's just a counter that builds up. And then I don't know. You can fucking yeah. That's nice, dude. It's going to be a barrel. Yeah, okay. Anyway, you basically avoids stress still based on a chance of because of the entropy value randomization in the first step. So that's why they call it an entry-based system. So I think it's when it's deciding the starting value. So this is why it's. Yeah, I don't know. You can if you want to deep dive it, bro. Deep dive it. The TLDR, you don't need to deep dive it. All you need to know is it's not pure random. It's consistent random. Okay? Consistent random versus pure random. Which is, to me, it's a far more overpowered stat. Like, what would you rather have? What would you rather have, chat? 50% consistent random, dodge everything, or 65% pure random, dodge everything? I know I'd be taking the 50% consistent any day. Nah, fuck 65. 50% consistent any day. Because when you're getting hit by a series of mobs, or when you're getting hit by a shotgun, but what happens is the 65% guy gets hit by a shotgun, because this happens in PoE. This thing's called multi-proj, where minions and monsters get multi-proj, okay, and they shoot out an attack that has an overlapping area effect, and it hits you at the same. And the 65% guy, guess what? You can get unlucky 4 times in a row. Guess what happens? You got unlucky 4 times in a row, dead. The 50% consistent guy takes 2, dodges 2 every time. Doesn't die. That's why it's better. Although evasion anyway, the thing about evasion is when you have high evasion, you're effectively invulnerable to attacks from most things that don't one-shot you. That's what's OP about evasion. But the biggest downside about evasion is that it's just attacks. So then guess what happens when you fucking fight a guy who does spells? You get clapped. Now this is the biggest downside of evasion, effectively fixed. Right? Evasion already evades all attacks and spells in PoE2 since there are no spells. It's just AoE versus single target. What? Okay, I don't know how evasion works in PoE2. I haven't seen it. So I mean, if evasion by default evades spells, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, that's insane.
But I expect this will be a great keystone for boss fights, enabling the chance to be able to evade area of effect hits which otherwise couldn't be evaded.
What?
And here's another
Wait, is there a video on that? That sounds confusing as fuck. Wait, what? That sounds crazy. Wait, what? Wait, is there what the fuck? How does evasion work in PoE? How is evasion not broken? What? They said it several times. I don't know. I don't. That sounds. Yeah, that's crazy. What do we got? You take 75% less damage over time if you started taking damage over time in the past second. You take 50% more damage over time if you haven't started taking damage over time in the past second. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The levitate one seems way better for most cases. 75% less if you've started taking it in the past second. 50% more if you haven't started taking it. What about if you what if you self-dot yourself? Oh, my bad. Yeah, my bad. This is dank, bro. This is dank. It seems kind of like Lethe Shade, but like more balanced. but then maybe abusable. Let's see what Drinkcore thinks. I feel like you could definitely. I mean, it's kind of like a combo of Lethe Shade and that one other fucking that one Pantheon node. It's like a combo.
Keystone, Heartstopper, which is somewhat similar to PoE 1's Lethe Shade. Take 75% less damage over time if you've started taking damage over time in the past second, and take 50% more damage over time if you haven't started taking damage over time in the past second. So this keystone rewards fast reactions to damaging ground effects, ailments, or anything else that deals damage over time to your character.
I don't like it. I'll be honest, I don't like it. I feel like this thing here is going to be another one of these things where very specific bosses, this is going to be very good against, and the rest of the time you turn it off. Right? You're gonna use it. There'll be like a particular boss that has an insanely scary like degen beam thing or degen fucking mechanic that you can always get out of it within a second, but like imagine Uber Shaper. This would be good for Uber Shaper. Like, I would take this for the Uber Shaper, for example. Yeah, that'd be good for Uber Shaper. But then you don't want it for the rest. Like, in mapping? Fuck no. There's so many degens they'll start on you that aren't that bad, and then 50% more damage to the degen. Like, fuck that. Yeah, don't you remember Levitation? The Levitation, that's what the guy in chat saying, don't you remember Levitation? No, do you listen to what I'm saying with my mouth? So, when I was yapping, I said I much prefer Levitation. Like, literally 45 seconds ago.
Remember that each instance of damage over time is not counted separately. Instead, this keystone simply checks if you're taking damage over time or not. For example, if you're inflicted with bleeding and it's the first instance of damage over time on you, you'll take 75% less damage from that bleed and any other sources of damage over time for the following 1 second. But after that second is up, you're no longer counted as having started taking damage over time in the past second anymore. So you'll now be taking 50% more damage over time from that bleed and any other sources.
There's maybe an abuse case here, though, where you could rotate between multiple different damage over time things that are short duration to, like, get the DR up all the time. Although I don't understand how quite if you started taking it over time. 50% more damage over time if you haven't started taking it over time. Because all you do is start taking damage over time. But then, wait, it's probably all the same, so it doesn't matter. Because if you have like a 10-second bleed on you, it doesn't matter. Because all it looks at is your degen, right? If you're degening life, then it goes, oh, you're degening life. Therefore, wait, what if your net region outweighs your degen? Whatever, dude. Fuck this node. I'm gonna use this node versus very specific bosses. I don't plan on using it consistently any day.
Of damage over time. To benefit most from this keystone, you'll need to react quickly to any damage over time that you take. Okay, I've left some stat stacking nodes till last.
What?
Firstly, Falcon Technique, which is accessed from the middle attribute highway between the Ranger and Monk stars.
Holy!
This notable grants 1% increased attack speed per 15 dexterity, providing a natural stat stacking angle for attack builds right off of the tree. If there's any good uniques which can combo well to provide more value from stacking dexterity, this node will be quite good.
It's crazy.
We know that dexterity will provide a lot more accuracy rating in PoE 2 compared to PoE 1. 2.5 times as much, in fact. You'll gain 5 accuracy per point of dexterity in PoE 2, which is important because of the next notable, Falcon Dive, located further towards the outer edge.
Bro, what the hell going on here, bro? Too much synergy, bro. It's like they're putting uniques in the game, but on a tree. It's so crazy how they're putting all this weird, like, we've seen so many nodes now. Like, you can pick whatever attribute you want and stack it. Although, wait a minute, we haven't really seen insane strength stacking ones, have we? We haven't seen insane... Although, then again, I think I'm about to watch a video on strength nodes.
Of the tree.
So, maybe I'm...
1% increase attack speed per 250 accuracy rating. So, you'll be able to gain quite a bit of attack speed from just stacking dexterity by combining these two nodes. Remember that speed modifiers have been toned back a lot from PoE 1. So, any kind of movement, attack, or cast speed increases will be much harder to come by and found in smaller amounts. But if you didn't want to stack dexterity, you could instead stack strength, because of another notable which I forgot to mention in yesterday's video.
Yo, what the hell, dude? They're straight up putting fucking unique / elevated mods. So this is a fucking thing. This is like the solve. So in every single strength stacking build, you always have to get this fucking one elevated mod on your helmet, which has this exact line on it, and it's super broken. Because it just caps your accuracy if you're doing a strength stacking build. How am I doing it? It's quite nice. It's very nice. Very nice. Although, in saying that, it's not that good if you just have, if you've just got like 500 strength or something. It's not that good. You need like, whatever. Fucking, 2k strength or something for it to be like potent.
Video, as it's located in the strength dexterity area of the tree, but it's not far from the Falcon Dive node. And that's the unexpected...
Like if you have 250 strength, there's no way you're taking that node. No way. Even 500 strength is still okay. But did you see how far it was down the tree? I mean, it depends on what this is. Maybe if you're pathing here and it's 2 points. If you're at 500 strength... Okay, you're at 500 strength and it's 2 points away. Maybe. Because then it's like 250 accuracy per point. But like 500 accuracy is a suffix in your item. Far from here, what, 2 points? 2 points. What are you talking about? Okay, you're pathing. So if you're pathing here already, and this is 2 points away, and you have 500 strength, that's 250 accuracy per point, which is like mid. I'm just saying. Wait, are you stupid? Wait, are you stupid? I can't tell if you're stupid or not. I don't understand. I don't know if you're slowing ahead or what's going on there. God damn it! I'm that chick now, aren't I? Are you an idiot? Are you an idiot? You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
The tree, but it's not far from the Falcon Dive node. And that's the unexpected Finesse notable, which makes you gain accuracy rating equal to your strength. You can see here in this combined image that these two nodes are actually fairly close to each other. So there's definitely some potential to combine the two, or you could always grab one of them on the tree and anoint the other one instead.
Okay, so he's talking about an accuracy stacking, strength stacking build.
And that's it. Some of the more interesting nodes in the dexterity area of the PoE 2
Why
package.
the hell are the fucking dex stacking nodes so much better than the strength stacking nodes? People rage. It's being a strength main, okay?
Tree. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more of the nodes elsewhere on the tree, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this very soon. Thanks for watching this video, and as always, stay tuned and stay safe.